Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, we're not talking about Black Panther, who's here on the featured character front screen. We're actually here to talk about the Dark Beast. Now, I've had some time to play around with him, and I don't know. Like, I guess I just want to open this up a little bit to have the discussion with you all, and maybe get some feedback in the comments down below. For those maybe who have played around with him a little bit, but also what we think might be on the horizon, or what we're missing, or not, you know, when it comes to his kit. I find that there's certain parts of his kit that just kind of makes me wonder why, and there's something in particular, and we're going to cover that in today's video. It might not be a super long video, we'll see, but I just want to kind of get that out there and kind of just get some feedback on it. So if you're ready to go, let's spoil this down. Okay, so this is my Death Seed roster. Yes, I do have a level 90 Magneto and Psylocke. That was nice, and they're pretty much ready to go. Now, I have... Okay, so just so full disclosure, I have spent some time playing with them on Doom 3.2 because I'm in a Scrub Alliance. We're not super hardcore. We might push a little bit harder after the full Death Seed comes out and you know, they're available for us. But yeah, we do currently an all left for the most part rating system that gets us to like 50%-ish. And that's what we're doing right now. It's just easy for the moment. But we will go back to normal once the full team comes out. So I did for a couple of runs. I went right and I did the Mystic. And I did the mutant stuff, and I trialed out using Dark Beast. Now I don't have any footage, and I'm sorry that I don't have the footage here. I mainly played on my phone. You know, I got a new phone that I'm using as the camera right now, because whenever I ran Dark Beast specifically on my LD player, which is what I'm using to record here, I found that the game actually was very unstable, and when I used my skills, caused the game to lag significantly. And in some instances, kind of crash alongside Magneto. I ended up getting the floating Magneto bug that you guys have seen, where he just kind of stays there, but he's like, he maybe moves back and forth, but he just, like, he doesn't animate anymore. So, I don't know, maybe it's Android, maybe it's my LD player. I tried it on BlueStacks, and I got pretty much the same reaction. So, I don't know. So, from now on, when I've been doing my testing, I've been doing it on my phone, but I really can't record that well, unless I record my screen, and I really don't like doing that. Anyways, so I've had a chance to play around with Dark Beast, and I actually came very close. Now, it's only on 3.2, of course. I came pretty close to clearing the first node with 3 Death Seed and Rogue and Omega Red. And I managed to almost clear the first node. I didn't, because there was a couple of enemies who I found very challenging to get through with the existing characters. And I know what you're saying, yeah, there's only 3 characters, there's no point talking about it. But I just want to talk about Dark Beast's role and Dark Beast's kit, you know, even though we don't necessarily know who's coming up. There's just some parts of it that make me question why that's a thing. And I want to start with that. We're going to start by talking about that and how this kind of plays out a little bit in the Doom Raid 3 and the nodes. So we'll talk about the kit, and then we'll jump to the nodes, and we'll talk about where I had the issues with that. So in raids, summon a clone of the primary target. This clone scales with Dark Beast stats instead of the primary target. That's fine. That's a lot like Sinister's, right? So the bigger the Dark Beast, presumably the bigger the clone. Now here's where things get interesting. Clone gains taunt for 1 turn, plus defense up for 2 turns. Let me tell you this flat out. And maybe my Dark Beast is not big enough, because I'm not level 90 yet, but I watched Tana's video, where he played through it, and it wasn't really far off from mine, except for he didn't have red stars, for what it's worth. I don't even know if it made a big deal. I don't remember if he had level 90 or not. But anyways, I think he did, because I think his Dark Beast is like 100k, and with no red stars, and mine's not there yet. So I think it was level 90. And the taunt part really scratches my head. I'm like, why? Every time I've tried to use this, the clone gets wrecked in like 1 turn. Like, because they hit a lot harder in the higher difficulties, the defense up is not enough. It's flat out not sufficient. I'm pretty sure every single time I try to do this, it's dead. So then it makes me wonder, well, what the hell is the point of this? And also, why is it... I mean, like, okay, I kind of get why it's raid only, because they don't want another Sinister thing going on, but it just feels super dumb. Now, I know that the rest of the kit, there's way more to it, right? So apply defense up for self and alt Desi allies for 2 turns. That's quite important. The survivability, that's really important. But the clone aspect, like, I've never been able to utilize the clone regardless of who I clone. So I believe in Tana's video, he starts off by using the Magneto alt, and if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Where he, uses the Magneto alt to start. So what I did was actually I used the Magneto special. So that I could get through the Red Guardian. I believe it was Red Guardian, I'm pretty sure, who has a spawn taunt. And that way I could, do a little bit more. You sometimes get forced into strife, but, I tried a variety of different, ways to do the node with the same characters. And no matter who I ended up cloning, whether it was Moondragon or Phylavel or anyone like that, because they had taunt... they would just die. They would be the main target. And so then I don't know who the 4th and 5th, if the 4th character is supposed to be a healer or Archangel, or if any of the other 2 basically have some mechanism to either keep the clone alive or redirect some of the clone stuff. I don't know. And so this is one of my most confusing aspects of his kit. The rest is fine. The reviving is interesting, I guess, because it's on a longer cooldown, and it's kind of like, but it's, I mean, I guess it's nice. There's a lot of stuff lumped into one skill. Regen to Death Seed, a revive mechanic, a buff mechanic, calling random allies, and then the clone, which is a pretty big part of the kit. Like, that's like the first part of the skill. And the fact that every single time I've used it, he's just dropped dead, or the clone's dropped dead, makes me question what the reasoning behind this was, or what the design philosophy is. Maybe we probably don't have the full picture, but it just does make me confused a little bit. And actually, you know what? I forgot that this was a thing. I completely forgot that this ability block part was a thing. I didn't even know. I know that, like, when it comes to getting the full team, we're going to be getting, a lot more of these buffs going on, and that's going to be really, really important. And I actually think that, for the most part, that this 50% armor is also going to be really important, because I feel that they're a bit squishy as it sits right now. And that's part of my other problem, is that between Magneto, Psylocke, and Dark Beast, like, one AoE can wipe them off the field, at least in 3.2. Can't even imagine what it'd be like in 3.4. I haven't talked to a lot of people who are doing the higher end raids. I do like the fact, though, that he is essentially Nebula from Infinity Watch for Death Seed, and I'm looking forward to that being, 100% of the time, because his stuff that he does with respect to his basic is very powerful. Without a doubt, it's a very good skill. It has all those negative status effects, the bleed, offense down, and heal block, and when he assists, so that's going off a lot of the time. But I just don't know. This one's okay too, because obviously it gives an additional ability block, flipping positive status effects. That's good if you do that at the right time, and it does some little extra damage. And it's on a cooldown of 4, which isn't bad, and applies the counters, which is cool too, which synergizes with his basic. But I'm really, like, scratching my head about the clone part, and I'll basically tell you, what happened in my run. I screwed up in my raids today, so you're going to see an embarrassing fact that I just kind of, like, died in the Mystic part, and nobody's come to bail me out yet, I think, because almost everyone's going left. But when we go to the mutant nodes, I'm going to basically give you a rundown of what happened, even though I don't have the gameplay footage to share with you. But we get these characters. I believe it's these 8 that spawn right at the beginning, because I believe the second wave is these 3 here. And so you have on spawn Red Guardian, which gives you the taunt. So I lead in with, typically, Magneto is the first person, and so I lead in with my Magneto special. And Strife typically taunts, but there is a way to get through his taunt, which allows Dark Beast to take your pick of the litter for cloning. And it doesn't really matter, because for some reason, whenever if you don't get Moondragon out of the way early on, she's going to really cause a lot of problems later. Not to mention that the damage that comes from Negasonic's ult really sucks too, so that's kind of why you want to blind it. But what I ended up doing actually was that I gave an offense down to Negasonic by using Omega Red's special on Strife, which then hit all the targets around, which was able to hit Negasonic. So an offense down, Negasonic ult didn't hurt too much because I didn't blind her in the first turn with Magneto, right? But once I got to Moondragon and she was able to ult, if she wasn't dead by then, my entire field was wiped for whatever reason. The evades can dodge that, but, you know, if it's not up or if people aren't under 50%, it hits really fucking hard, actually, for a support character. And I just really struggled. And especially with Sinister cloning one of your characters, that's a bit of an issue as well. So I really don't know in the context of Doom 3, even though we don't know the other two characters, like, how are you supposed to play out the battle, or what's the intention behind Dark Beast's kit? Dark Beast's special for the clone. Are you, like, when they played this, when they designed the team, and they designed this for Doom Raid 3, or not, maybe they didn't. I mean, did they think about, like, hey, like, how are you gonna play the battle? You know, who are you going to clone? It definitely doesn't feel like it's going to be an auto team, but we could be missing, like, an entire story, and I'm sure we are missing quite a bit of it, but I just feel the story and the narrative here with this team, it's a bit wonky, to say the least. And there's, like, so much AoE going on like a variety of these nodes. You can wipe really easily by Evil Strange if he's not dead, especially when you're using Astonishing X-Men. Like, his ult hits really fucking hard, and so there's so many ways that you can get wrecked, like, on these nodes, and that's why I hate them, because and we're not even at the boss, right? We're just talking about the regular nodes. I mean, I don't even want to talk about this, frankly. Like, I'm kind of inexperienced with the mutant, I'll admit, because it's been a long time. But it's just so much more challenging than all the other nodes. And I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what your experience with Dark Beast is. Have you tried? Has there been anything that you've tried that actually makes it through the nodes alive with everyone intact? I doubt it. But hey, maybe someone's gonna impress me down below. And I'm just curious what you guys think about the clone mechanism with the taunt. Is there something that we're not missing? Or is that their intention? Is that, I don't know, you're gonna clone someone and it's just a side effect that you get, like, 1 or 2 extra hits on the clone and then he's dead, and then it just feels like it's not very meaningful and you're not actually really getting to utilize the clone. Whereas when you had Sinister in the places that you did use him, it felt that the clone was a lot more meaningful for the team, and this time it doesn't. But hey, that's just me. Just some thoughts and some musings about Dark Beast and Death Seed so far, and of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.